Good morning, freshmen, and happy Wednesday. Today we're going to write a fraction in simplest form. Over the past 2 days, we've talked about how fractions greater than 1 can be represented in different ways. Today we are going to talk about another tool we can use to represent fractions in a different way. We are going to simplify fractions. When we simplify fractions, we find an equivalent form that is easier to work with than any other equivalent form. Let's start by looking at an example. Let's use the model below to write the fraction 3/6 in the simplest form. I can see that if I divide each row by 3, this fraction is the same as 1/2. I have one group of 3 out of two groups of 3. When I simplify a fraction, I divide the numerator and the denominator by the same number until they no longer have a common factor. Let's look at another example, 12/16, and simplify that. Here I know that I can divide both 12 and 16 by 4. This gives me 3/4. So 12/16, when written in simplest form, is 3/4. I can see that in my model because I have 1, 2, 3 groups of 4 out of 4, or 3/4. Let's look at one more example, 24/30. I know that I can divide each row by 6 and get 4/5. So I know the simplest form of this is 4/5. I can see that using my model by seeing that 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 6 out of the 5 are shaded in, or 4 out of 5.
Now let's try one without a model. 12/15. First I need to think about what goes into both 12 and 15. Which one can I divide both 12 and 15 by? I can divide both 12 and 15 by 3. What's 12 divided by 3? It's 4. What's 15 divided by 3? It's 5. 12/15, written in simplest form, is 4/5. Let's look at another example. Is 12/20 written in simplest form? No, it is not, because there is something that goes into both 12 and 20. What goes into both 12 and 20? 4 goes into both 12 and 20. I can divide both by 4 to write my fraction in simplest form. What's 12 divided by 4? It's 3. What's 20 divided by 4? It's 5. 3/5 is the simplest form of 12/20. Let's look at one final example, and then you're going to try one on your own. In this example, I've simplified 12/16, divided both by 2, and gotten 6/8. Am I finished simplifying? No, I am not finished simplifying, because 6 and 8 both have a common factor, both have a number that go into them. That number is 2. Divide both 6 and 8 by 2, and find what 6/8 is in simplest form. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 6/8 in simplest form is 3/4. Now you try one. What's 15/25 in simplest form? Well, first I would need to know what I divide by. Here, 5 goes into both. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 3/5 is 15/25 in simplest form. You've done a great job with this video. Now it's time for practice.